Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before I go any further, can I just say a huge thank you to everybody that offered me support last week. I didn't think last week's video went particularly well. To be quite honest, I wasn't feeling 100%, and I think it showed, but you guys obviously never noticed and were sending me supportive messages basically saying that I've got nothing to worry about, a few of which I'll be reading out in a minute. So thanks ever so much to pretty much everybody that took the time to say you've got nothing to worry about. I thought I had, but you obviously didn't agree with that. So right, just a quick roundup of what's coming today. We've got some comments on last week's video. You guys have been watching Evil Dead Rise and Scream 6, so I've got your thoughts on that one. I've picked out another 3 DVD stroke Blu-rays to get rid of. Finding that surprisingly easy. Also, let's see, what have I got here? An item that I bought last week. Another series that I grew up with, that I hugely enjoyed in the 70s, which I'll be showing off on DVD. And also, let's see, we've got a quick Q&A. I hope I can get all this in. And also, the top 10 is back. I had a top 10 sent to me this week. I actually asked for it. And it came through, so I'm going to be doing another top 10 a little bit later on. So starting off with, let's see, some comments from last week's video. Jason, great vid mate, not sure what you were panicking about. Yeah, you see what I mean, you don't see it. Be brutal with sorting out DVDs and Blu-rays. As I say, I'm finding this at the moment surprisingly easy. I remember when I used to do bin it and keep it, which is definitely coming back, by the way. I used to spend ages just scouring the shelf trying to find one. And it's like, oh God, maybe, possibly, yeah, right. But this, finding 3 a week, seems to be surprisingly easy. The trick will be getting them down to the RSPCA shop before I change my mind, which is very, very likely. Not so much at the moment because these ones are fairly easy, but honestly, Jason, it's a lot simpler than I thought it would be. I know you were offering suggestions about CEX and all that sort of thing, and dumping them in neighbours' bins and all this sort of thing. I think the RSPCA will get a lot more out of them than that. So, Jason Kerr, our Ginger Ninja, a great vid, Tony. Thanks for the mention. As much as I like the MCU movies, they are getting a bit average. Yeah. There's just too many of them. We've had this discussion countless times. I will keep going with the MCU journey. I'm only up to Thor, the first one at the moment. So it is taking me a while to get there. I'm not as enthusiastic as perhaps I was when I first started it, but I will continue with it because I'm assured that they get better as they go on. You put hoping Guardians of the Galaxy 3 changes that. Heard a lot about this one. It's getting surprisingly good reviews because it's a very different MCU type of movie. Now, I've not seen either of the 2 previous installments, but all the reviews that I've read of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 makes me really want to watch that one. So I've been asking whether, you know, it's essential to see all the other MCU movies before I come on to Guardians of the Galaxy, or whether I can watch the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy as a standalone thing, and I'm assured that I can do that. So there's a very, very good possibility that I will be jumping ahead and taking a look at the Guardians of the Galaxy films. You also put 70s sci-fi is top tier sci-fi. I grew up on it, and there really isn't anything quite like it. I quite agree. 70s sci-fi is wonderful. You all know how I feel about this. It's bright, it's colourful, it's brilliant. Logan's Run is a classic example of that. Soylent Green, all that kind of thing. Just Planet of the Apes, superb. So yeah, quite agree with that. Rick, sorry I'm late to the party this week, Tony. I know what you mean about the collection. Last count I gave up at over 2,000. Holy shit, man. 2,000. I haven't counted yet. I promised I'd do it in time for this weekend, but I haven't had a chance to do it. I will definitely 100% do it in time for next week, and I think even I'm going to be surprised at how many I've got. 2,000 of yours sounds a lot. I get the feeling I may have more. I don't know. but we'll see. I challenged Tony to watch the 2011 masterpiece that is Hobo with a Shotgun. If you've not seen it, I've not seen it. I did see the trailer a few weeks ago. It's a late Rutger Hauer movie. It does look incredibly violent, but it looks like the kind of violence that I could probably cope with. So yes, I accept that challenge, and I will be taking a look at that. I've not seen Shooter. I showed off Shooter last week, the Mark Wahlberg film, as one of the first three that I'm going to be getting rid of. And you say it looks a cool movie. It is a really good movie, don't get me wrong. It's just one that I don't think I'm going to watch again. And it really is that simple. And it's like I've said before, and Jason agrees with this. I'm 61 this year. Basically, how long am I going to live, and am I going to be able to watch all these movies? So I am trying to be brutal with getting rid of them. Shooter was one. I'm just fairly sure I won't watch it again, even though it was good. Great video as always, mate. Much appreciated, Rick. You also put a video on last week, the 5 most violent movies ever. Believe it or not, I've actually seen 1, 2 of them. The first one was Hobo with a Shotgun, which I will have seen fairly shortly. That's going on my watch list. I Spit on Your Grave. Wow, what a horrible movie. I remember seeing the original way back in the early 80s, the one that made it onto the Video Nasties list, the illegal list. And it was just, to me, it was at the time, it was a badly acted, badly filmed, very distasteful, leave a real bad taste in your mouth horror type movie. It didn't do a lot for me. It was one of those movies that it had a reputation. Obviously everybody had to watch it, and you watch it and you think, a bit like Driller Killer, it's like, well, God, what was all the fuss about? That's pretty crap, actually. But the one you're talking about, the remake, was just horrible. I did not like the death with the eyes, the fish hooks holding the eyes open while the birds pecked his eyes out. That was absolutely horrible. So I think I Spit on Your Grave is a movie that I probably won't watch again. And I've not seen any of the sequels. I believe there's about 3 of them. But I've not seen any of them. What else is on this list? The Raid Redemption. I used to work with somebody that used to talk about The Raid all the time as probably the best action film he's ever seen. I haven't seen it. All I can say is about The Raid that the action looks lightning fast. It looks insane. I'm not sure whether it's my type of movie. It's probably one that I could watch. I don't know, but it looks mad. Rambo. You know I've seen Rambo. That was a few weeks ago. Horribly violent. Really, really well done, I've got to admit. I mean, Stallone directs and acts in that one. And he does a pretty decent job. I was quite impressed with it. But it was fairly horrible. And the last one, Avengement. I've never heard of it, but there is absolutely no bloody way that I'm going to be able to sit through that one. Do you know what that one reminded me of? Gangs of London. And you pretty much know how I feel about Gangs of London. I watched the first episode and almost felt traumatised by the level of violence. I've never seen anything quite like it. And looking at that, the way it's filmed, the fight scenes, and this is just in the bit on your video, I am fairly sure I would not make it through that. It reminded me an awful lot of the style in which Gangs of London was done. So please don't ask me to watch that one, because I'm fairly sure I wouldn't get more than 10 minutes into it. But that was a cracking video. I really enjoyed watching that. I'm really glad that you didn't put the actual soundtracks on the clips, because I'm not sure I'd have made it through it if you had done that. It was you talking over it, but yeah, it was a cracking video, mate. Enjoyed that one. And also you picked up a copy of the Second Sight release of Boiling Point, which is an amazing film. You finally got this bad boy in a sweet Second Sight collector's edition, and it looks great. Review coming soon. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to hearing what you think of it. And also what the quality and the extras are like on there. May just tempt me to pick a copy up. Steve Mack, you love 70s sci-fi like you. Enjoyed Logan's Run, The Omega Man, which I'm definitely looking forward to watching. Silent Running, another one I can't wait to watch. Solaris, never seen it. Didn't they remake that with George Clooney a few years ago? The Andromeda Strain, which I have got but not watched yet. And you also mentioned Tarkovsky's Stalker. Again, I've heard a lot about this one. I believe Kermo cites this as one of his favourite movies. So I'm going to be digging all 6 of those out. Taking a look at those at some point. But Logan's Run, thoroughly enjoyed it. Superb movie. Chris, Wolf Creek is a great movie and made better by the fact that it's based on a true story. Made more disturbing, more like. I currently have my 800 Blu-rays in storage. 800. Funny enough, I thought it would be more, Chris. I expected more on that one. I'd love to, when I have a bigger house, have a room where I could have a blockbuster type room where they go back on display. And maybe I should get rid of some. Don't know why. I mean, if you've got the room for them, hold on to them. But the idea of the blockbuster room, I absolutely love it, especially if you do it out like a blockbuster store. That would be amazing. And if you do end up doing that, we have to have a video of that because we would love to see that. What else have you put here? Wizard of Oz is one classic I never tire of and is absolutely beautiful in 4K. I highly recommend. I was tempted by the 4K of this one, and now you've told me the quality is faultless. I may just invest in it. I've got it on Blu-ray. I find it hard to believe it would look any better in 4K, but you say that it does, so I may just be tempted by that one. It is a stone cold classic. And you put, I think I'm going to watch Gregory's Girl. Not my kind of movie, but seeing your eyes light up when mentioning the 4K transfer made me want to see it, to see if I can enjoy it as much as yourself. It's just a beautiful film. It's a lovely little coming-of-age tale set in Scotland. I can't fault it. I absolutely love it. I've seen it countless times, never get bored of it. You put here, Logan's Run has been on my watch list for a while now. Maybe I should bump it near to the top of the watch list. I definitely recommend you do that. I think you would enjoy it a lot. And that Jaws book looks really interesting. Maybe an idea for the website. Not only include your new movies collection, but also movie books which you have. That's a cracking idea. Yeah, I can definitely do that. I've got loads and loads of books based around films and filmmaking and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to take that on board and have a go at that. Thank you for a great vid, as per. Much appreciated, mate. Again, you obviously didn't pick up on the fact that I wasn't feeling particularly brilliant last week. But yeah, really appreciate that. And on the back of what we were talking about with Gregory's Girl, this is what I would class as a classic triple bill of what I would call gentle comedy. First one, obviously, Gregory's Girl, stars John Gordon Sinclair, directed by Bill Forsyth. And this is not the only film directed by Bill Forsyth that's in this little list. As I say, this is just a lovely little film. Please take a look at it, and please do a video review when you've watched it, because I'd be very curious to see what you think of it. Basically watching it through younger eyes. I remember it when it first came out in 1980 or 81, so you're talking 40 years ago, and it's not really aged that much. I think it's amazing. There are a few lines in there that are what you would class as a little bit dodgy nowadays that you probably wouldn't get away with, but wasn't everything in the 80s. So that's one. Next one, perfect triple bill, Local Hero, also directed by Bill Forsyth, which is basically about a guy that works for an oil company. He's sent by his boss, played by Burt Lancaster, to a small Scottish village to negotiate the buying of land, which involves buying the whole village and building oil rigs and putting an oil refinery on the land. It sounds boring, and on paper it probably is boring, but this is a lovely, charming little film set in the most gorgeous little Scottish village. If I really want you to add this to that little watch list, Chris, because I'd love to know what you think of this if you've not already seen it. It's also got a brilliant soundtrack by Martin Knopfler, Dire Straits, so I think you'd enjoy that. And finally, this one, Melody, Caroline, you'll know this one. Mark Lester and Jack Wilde in their first pairing since starring in Oliver in 1968. This was made in 1971. It's just, again, a gentle tale of first love. There are a lot of scenes in this, again, that you probably wouldn't get away with now. But obviously 50 years ago things were very, very different. But this is a lovely little film, and it's got the most amazing soundtrack by the Bee Gees. One track, 1st of May, stuck in my head the first time I saw this on TV, which would have been about 1974 or about 1975 or 1976, and I could not get 1st of May out of my head for weeks afterwards. But again, if you like gentle comedies that are, well, completely inoffensive, go for that, have a go. That's my perfect triple bill for a Saturday afternoon of gentle comedies. Let me just scroll down a little bit. Mark, you put another great video, stop worrying and keep posting. I will keep posting, mate, and I do appreciate that. As I say, I wasn't feeling particularly amazing last week, so it's not surprising it went wrong. Guy, straight to the point. That was a great episode, Tony. Fuck's sake, dude, go easy on yourself. I know. I'm my own worst enemy as far as that goes, but I watched it back after I'd actually recorded it and thought it's probably not that bad, but it absolutely ain't my best. But I do appreciate that. And you're watching Blue Thunder today on its 40th anniversary. Now that post went up about 20 minutes ago. That's how current this is. What a brilliant movie. Saw it at the Odeon when it first came out. That would have been about 1983. Yeah, I think about 83. Brilliant movie. Not so keen on the TV series. I think I watched about 2 episodes and got bored of it. But Blue Thunder is one that I could definitely do with catching up with again. I haven't seen it for quite a while, so yeah, that's one that I will be taking in. I'll see if I can grab a Blu-ray copy of that. Scott, glad you finally got around to watching Kingdom of the Spiders. Told you. Amazing film. Again, saw that in 1977 when it first came out. This was way before the days of CGI. So all of the spiders that you see in that are real. And when you see somebody crawling from head to toe in tarantulas, they really are covered in them. So yeah, I'm really glad you got a chance to watch it and you did enjoy it. Love the look of that import, by the way. Is it a Spanish one? I think I remember seeing that a few weeks ago on Amazon. And I don't know why, but I was tempted by it, even though I've got the Code Red Blu-ray, which is superb. I would really love to grab a copy of that in 4K if they ever deign to release it on 4K. That would be absolutely amazing. But I'm glad that you got the chance to watch that. Right, Evil Dead Rise. You've all been watching Evil Dead Rise. Here are your thoughts. Jason, we thought it was okay. You have to remember I'm not a big horror fan, especially supernatural ones, and didn't like the original Evil Dead trilogy because of the shit effects. 40 years ago, Jace, come on. Love the 2013 remake though. Yeah, you redeemed yourself a bit with that one. The remake wasn't bad, to be fair. It was not bad at all. And then you put onto this one, wouldn't watch it again, but it was okay. The bit that made my stomach turn was the cheese grater scene. I've caught my skin on one a few times so could feel their pain. I keep hearing about this cheese grater. I keep thinking it's not going to be that bad, and then you come on, who's watched probably some of the most violent movies ever, and you said it made your stomach turn, so I'm not sure now. Mark, I thought it was both brilliant and hilarious, which basically harks back to the original Evil Dead. I think that was superb. And as nasty as it was, and it is a nasty film, it had some very humorous moments in it, so I kind of get that. I haven't watched it yet. I'm trying to work up the nerve. I have got it, but I've not quite worked up the nerve to have a go yet. Scream 6, your reviews. Jason again, thought I'd stick this on. Mark turned it off after an hour, so how long would it last on my TV? The whole 2 hours. That's how long. Bloody loved it. Better than Evil Dead Rise 2, and I guess The Killer again, as I did in Scream 5. Definitely worth a watch. Not sure whether I'm up for this one. Not sure. Mark, I've not enjoyed any of them since the second one. I can't remember any of them since the first one. I've seen them all, but if you asked me to tell you about the plot of any individual one apart from the first one, I wouldn't have a clue. So I do probably need to revisit all sort of 5 of them before I take on Scream 6, because I don't think it would make much sense. Now then, the Meg 2. The trailer dropped this week. Have you guys seen it? Am I the only one that was basically distinctly sort of underwhelmed by it? I've been waiting for this for ages. I can't wait. Well, couldn't wait to watch the Meg 2. I know that's not the most popular opinion. I know a lot of people out there didn't think much of it. But I thought, with this being directed by Mr. Violence himself, Ben Wheatley, that we might get a really, really good sequel here. But watching the trailer, I couldn't get that excited about it. Let me know what you think. Drop something in the comments below, or anything like that. It surprised me how underwhelmed I actually was by it. I've watched it 2 or 3 times just to see whether, you know how sometimes you watch things and, an hour or 2 later you'll watch it again a little bit and it's like, oh, that's actually better than I thought it was. This wasn't. So let me know what you think. I will probably still watch it, but to be honest, I'm not holding out much hope as it being as good as the original. Gareth, you posted an interesting DVD sleeve. I'd never heard of this. In fact, it prompted me to say, is this actually a thing? Because if it is, I'd be up for watching this. It was a movie directed by Dario Argento, who was like the godfather of Italian giallo horror crime movies. And it was a movie called The Washing Machine. Now, I don't know much about it. In fact, I know very little about it. It's to do with a washing machine and people getting shoved in it. But it's Dario Argento, so it's got to be worth a watch. It just surprised me. As soon as I saw that sleeve, I thought, that can't be real, can it? But this is coming from somebody that loves movies like Killer Sofa, Larmageddon, Beaster Bunny, which I've yet to finish. So The Washing Machine shouldn't be that bad, but I'm going to see if I can grab a copy, and I'll let you know what I think of that when I finally get around to watching it. Right, my 3 movies to bin this week. Oh God. First one. I've had this for years. I've never watched it. I don't think I've got any intention of ever watching it. I love Take That's Music, but this idea of stage plays based around the songs of certain bands, it does absolutely nothing for me. It really doesn't. I enjoyed Mamma Mia, not seen the sequel. I don't think I'm going to be watching this. So that was a very easy decision to make. Next one is Iron Man. As I say, I'm enjoying these MCU movies, but I'm very, very doubtful as to whether I'm going to watch them again. This was one of the better ones. I quite enjoyed this one, but again, am I going to watch it a second time? Probably not. So that's another one. And finally, oh, this will cause some controversy, Rambo. I only watched this a few weeks ago, and as good as it was, and as good as Stallone was in it, and the violence was horrendous and all that sort of thing, I don't think it's one that I'm going to be reaching for a second time. We shall see, but I can't see it personally, but we'll see. So that's this week's 3. As you see, Jace, I'm finding it surprisingly easy. A quick Q&A. I need some more questions, guys. Please send me some more questions. Chris Hukin, you sent me one. Overrated and underrated actor or actress. I had trouble with this one. Underrated, I would say Nicolas Cage. I think he gets a lot of bad press. And I think a lot of his movies are really, really good, the ones that I've seen. If you can erase the memory of the Wicker Man remake, you're not doing too bad. But I just think he's all right. Overrated, and don't ask me to explain this because I can't, Jake Gyllenhaal. I have no idea, but as soon as I see Jake Gyllenhaal is in a film, it instantly turns me off it. There's only one that I saw that basically that I thought might be interesting, and that was called I can't remember. That's how much of an impact he made on me. But underrated, I'd say Nicolas Cage. I think is a lot better than people give him credit for. And overrated is Jake Gyllenhaal for absolutely no reason whatsoever, apart from the fact that I won't usually watch any film that he's in. Right, I'm going to skip through. Let me see now. This top 10. This lady I used to work with many, many years ago. I've kind of kept in touch on and off on Facebook, and I've been asking her for ages to do a top 10. and she's done one for me and sent it through. So I'm going to go through these. Let's see. In no particular order. Number 10, 12 Monkeys. I've actually got that. I bought it very recently. It's been recommended to me. I know it's Terry Gilliam. Very, very confusing apparently, but I love the movies of Terry Gilliam that I have seen, so I'm definitely going to take a look at that one. Les Miserables, the 2012 musical. I know it's based on a West End stage play, which in turn was based on the Victor Hugo novel. And when I first saw that title, I thought I would really like to read the book first. I'm one of these that likes to read the book before I watch the film, and didn't realise I'd actually got it on my Audible account. So I thought, right, I'll have a look at that. 67 hours long. Polly, it's longer than the Bible. Well, it's not quite. I think the Bible is 76 hours. Les Miserables is 68 hours long, so I think I might have to forego reading the book before this one. I'm not a massive fan of stage shows, but this does look particularly good. I believe Russell Crowe's in it, so it's got to be worth a watch. Pulp Fiction. Oh no, where are we? Oh, I'm not going in any particular order here. Number 8, Pulp Fiction, classic Tarantino. My favourite Tarantino movie has got to be Reservoir Dogs, but Pulp Fiction would definitely come a close second. What did you reckon to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I really enjoyed it because I got this fascination with the Manson murders, and realised by the end of the movie that the movie portrays the Manson murders exactly how they didn't happen. But it was typical Tarantino, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant, and I'd be curious to know what you thought of that one. Number 7, Swordfish. This is John Travolta, Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry. Basically, I think Hugh Jackman plays an ex-con who's recruited by a gang of robbers for his computer hacking skills. I watched the trailer for this last night and really enjoyed it. I'm thinking of grabbing a copy of this on Blu-ray and taking a look, because I've never seen it. Huge John Travolta fan, but this is one that went right under my radar, so I will be taking a look at that. Number 6, The Matrix. Made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. I do need to watch it again just to see whether it's as confusing as it was the first time, but it didn't make any sense to me. Number 5, Walk the Line. Now this was directed by James Mangold, who is, he's recently directed the new Indiana Jones movie Dial of Destiny. Now this is a biography of Johnny Cash, the country singer. Stars Reese Witherspoon and Joaquin Phoenix. I've never seen it, but with it being on your list, I intend to take a look at it. The Changeling, one of my favourite movies ever. I haven't seen it for decades. George C. Scott and Trish Van Der Veer. It's a ghost story, a Canadian movie. I do remember there's one hell of a jump scare in it, but I can't remember where it is, so it will make me jump again. I have actually got a copy of that on DVD. I've had this for years, so I think I might bang this on later and have a look. Cracking movie. Number 3, Ready Player One. Never seen it. I know it's something to do with computer games, and I've been assured it will show off my 4K TV and player to its maximum effect. So that's one I do want to take a look at. Sliding Doors completely confused me. I do remember the plot vaguely. I do need to take another look at that one. Basically, Gwyneth Paltrow plays a lady who catches her husband or boyfriend in bed with another woman, and it basically follows 2 timelines. One where she catches him and one where she doesn't catch him, and the 2 timelines keep intermingling, and it confused the hell out of me. But I do want to watch it again. And the last one, number 1, is Girl Interrupted. Again, directed by James Mangold, stars Winona Ryder. A lady takes an overdose, is committed to a psychiatric hospital for 18 months, and it's basically the story of what happens to her in there. So it's one I've never seen, but I would like to see it, with it being directed by Mangold, just to see what it's like. So thanks ever so much for that poll. Pete, it's your turn now. Let's have yours. Write them down. I know 2. and I know a possible third because you mentioned it a few weeks ago, but I would really love to do yours next week if you can get them written down for me. Right, I was going to I'll show this off very quickly and I'll talk about it a little bit more. I bought this week, A Trip to the Moon. This movie was made in 1902. It is 122 years old. Why have I bought it? I'll explain it next week because I've not got time now because I'm coming up to 30 minutes and it's going to click off. So I'll be talking about that one next week. Oh, very quickly. Series I grew up with. I'll talk about this next week as well. I've cut myself off way too quick with this. The Kenny Everett video show. This is the ones he did for Thames. Much better than the BBC ones. I'll talk about that more next week as well. Thanks ever so much for joining me, folks. I really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe, all that. I'll be back next week with more of the same. Have a great week. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. And again, thanks ever so much for joining me. Take care. Ta-da.